Bob Barker's final Come On Down is coming up fast, marking an end to 35 years as the host of The Price is Right. Hattie Kaufman spoke to Bob about the legacy he's leaving behind.
It has been a lot of fun. It really has. I've enjoyed, well, I would never have done it this long had I not enjoyed it. And it's tough leaving this show because it has been a hit from day one. We've had 35 years never worrying about ratings, always right up on top.
Would it have been a hit without you?
Well, my agent says no.
That's what counts.
But it has been a real joy. Full houses, you know, people waiting all night to come in. And it's just been so much fun that for years, maybe 5 to 10 years, I've thought, well, I'm going to wrap it up this year. And then I'd think, no, one more year.
Really? You've been thinking about this retirement for some time.
I did. Not because I didn't enjoy the show and not because I wasn't feeling good or anything like that, just because I was getting so old, I thought, you're supposed to retire.
Well, what made you decide now?
Well, this is my 50th year on national television and my 35th year on this show, and I thought it was a neat time to call a halt. And so I chose to do it this year.
But soon there'll be a morning when you wake up and you won't have to get ready and come in here.
Bingo. That's exactly what worries me. I've had a show since I was 21 years old. And for years my wife worked with me. And we would be on vacation and we'd be talking about the show. And we'd have a long weekend, we'd be talking about the show. And always thinking about the show. And the first morning that I wake up and there's no the show, I don't know. I may have to go into a rest home or something. I have to get care.
No one's asked you to leave. No one would want you to leave. You have people lining up to see you overnight, people flying across the country.
That's right.
You're really walking away from it on your own.
I'm walking away from it, but you have. I want to leave while I'm still wanted. I don't want someone to come and say, don't you think it's about time you leave, you know? And I want to leave while the show is doing splendidly. And it all just kind of seemed to work this year, to happen this year.
People see only what they see on television. They don't realize during the commercial break, you're not back there resting. You're often out here keeping the crowd warmed up and not letting them fall asleep and energizing the room.
I do that for a selfish reason. I get them up and I stay with them because I don't want them to start sagging. And then when we start the next segment, I have to get them up again. I've always done that. I like to stay right with them, and the show begins when I come through. The show begins out in the line, actually. They have fun out there. But when I come through the doors, I'm there to stay until it's goodbye. And I want them to have fun throughout the hour so that they're always fun on the air.
And they're wild.
Oh, they're wild.
They're wild. You've been lifted off your feet.
Oh, yeah.
How many times have you been kissed?
Oh, I think it's now 9,412. That doesn't count today. We have to total that up.
Most memorable moment?
Well, that's no problem at all. More than 25 years ago, we had a young lady seated right out in this area wearing a tube top. Her name was called to be on the show. She jumped to her feet, began jumping up and down, and both of them came right out of the tube top.
Tube didn't jump along.
She came on down, and they came on out on CBS. And no one has ever forgotten. And I was still behind the doors here. I didn't see it, you see. And so I came out, and they were screaming. And I thought, oh, they love me. They love me. And then I became conscious, I guess, because I realized no one had ever applauded like this for me. And so
and they weren't looking at you.
I turned to Johnny Olson, who was our announcer at that time, and I said, Johnny, what has happened out here? And Johnny said, this girl has given her all for you.
Do you have some advice for whoever might be walking through the door after you?
I do. I will. One of the young men who have auditioned for the job asked me that, and I gave him the same answer. I told him the same thing that Ralph Edwards, who created Truth or Consequences and hosted it himself, he was a fine host.
It is with great sadness that we inform you that Bob Baker, the legendary host of The Price is Right show, has died. The legend died at the age of 99 due to natural causes in his longtime Hollywood Hill home this week. According to Roger Neal, who served as his publicist from 1987 through 1984 and again from 2020, and made an announcement on Saturday on behalf of the Baker's family and girlfriend Nancy Barnett. And this is what he had to say. It is with profound sadness that we announce that the world's greatest MC who ever lived, Bob Baker, has left us. That's what Neil said in his statement. He continued to say, I'm so proud of the trailblazing work Baker and I did together to expose the cruelty to animals in the entertainment industry, and including working to improve the light of abused and exploited animals in the United States and internationally. We were great friends over 40 years, and we will miss him so much. Bob Baker has battled various health problems in the past few years. In January 2019, paramedics were called to Baker's Hollywood Hills home after he fell at his residence. Although an ambulance was on the scene, he was not hospitalized. Several months earlier, Baker's manager confirmed to People that an ambulance and the fire department response to his Hollywood home for an emergency back problem in October 2018. Afterwards, his manager said Baker was fine and resting at home. This incident came more than a year after he fell and hit his head at his home in June 2017. He served as the host of The Price is Right for 35 years before announcing his retirement at the age of 87. His last episodes of the iconic show, now hosted by Drew Carey, was in 2007. That's when he made his retirement public. We all remember him from his famous phrase, and the actual retail price is. That was one of Baker's famous phrases during the show. When he retired, Baker had reservations about leaving the gig that turned him into a TV icon. This is some of the words that he had to say during his retirement in 2007. I have thought every year for the last 10 or 15 years that maybe I should quit. And then I think, no, I'll do it for another year. That was according to the interview that he did with Entertainment in 2007. I regret that I'm quitting now. Those were his last words during his interview with E! Entertainment back in 2007. He began his television career after moving out of Los Angeles in 1956. It was only a matter of days before he secured his first hosting gig on Truth or Consequences, where he worked for 18 years. He began hosting The Price is Right on CBS in 1972. And it became the long-running game show in US history and turned Baker into the longest game show host to ever exist. Though his fame helped him land several big screen roles, including the Adam Sandler's 1976 comedy Happy Gilmore, his work in TV remained his crowning achievement. He was previously married to his wife Dorothy Jo for 36 years before her death in 1981. The couple had no children, and the television host never remarried since he lost the love of his life, Dorothy Jo, who they were married for 36 good years. Truly, it's a big loss to the it's truly a big loss to the Price is Right and the entire CBC TV for the loss of one of their legendary hosts, Bob Baker. The guy did what he loved most, and he did it perfectly for the longest time possible. We will remember him for all that he has done in this game show and all the comedy that he has bring in our screens for many more than one TV shows that he has been featured in. Truly, Bob was a unique character and he was good at what he did. May he rest in peace and may perpetual light continue shining upon him. Until we meet again, Bob. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe on our channel. See you on the next one. Bye bye.